Hey guys, how's it going? Just texting everybody. Let's go live. Let's go live on YouTube. How was everybody's Halloween? Ooh, I got some new passes I forgot to show off. I was just uploading everything onto YouTube. But I have 2 people that passed this week. And what did I do with their thing? I just posted it on Messenger. Let me get off of this. Go back to Messenger. There we go. We have a 97 in the house this weekend from Pennsylvania, and Danielle passed with an 80 from Houston, Texas this weekend. So that's super nice. I forgot to grab her name. I'll have to go back and see who that was, but Pennsylvania, that's awesome. She let me know on Facebook. Hopefully everybody had a really good Halloween. We didn't have not one trick-or-treater with all that stuff we got. My mom had gotten from the trading company. We didn't have anybody stop by and trick-or-treat. The boys had a couple of friends over, but they weren't like, they were planned. But we didn't have anybody stop by and trick-or-treat. Usually we get 3 or 4 stragglers, but our street isn't a through street. You have to be like in the neighborhood to come down our street. It's not a main access road, so a lot of times. But even in COVID times, we had 3 or 4 people stop by, but I don't know why this year nobody stopped by. And we had all the fog and bubbles and all kinds of cool things going out, but that's all right. Maybe next year. So I'm really close to finishing up the ICD-10 guidelines for 2023. I'm on the last page and a half or so. So right now I'm on page G36. But almost done. I have some cases for you guys again tonight. ER cases and urinary, because I'm trying to do urinary this weekend for our workshop. So I had some urinary cases. I don't know why I put them on tonight's live when I should be saving them for Sunday, but anyway, whatever. I got them down. And then some ER cases that were cool that we'll have to do. Not intended to provide guidance and not intended to replace a guideline. Well, why do I even need to read this then? Why y'all gotta say all that stuff? Makes no sense sometimes. How to apply. Lester, my kitty cat's got the zoomies. You got the zoomies? You got the zoomies? Look at you. You got the zoomies. He's so sweet. Hey, Anointed, how's it going? Let's see, medical record. Right here, we need to highlight that paragraph. That one's a little important, all the way down to the word not. So just 3 sentences here. then the word provider, and then legally accountable for establishing the patient's diagnosis. We'll underline that one. I'm on page G36 of the 2023 ICD-10 book. Just highlighting the last little bit of important information. Now we're going to be on G37. I already got some of it highlighted, but not all of it. Let's see. Next sentence needs to be right here, the POA. So we're on G37, and I need to highlight this paragraph. And POA. That's present on admission. There we go. And what else? The present, not present, documented, insufficient, and provider unable to determine. Those are important. No required time frame. And we're going to do down. There we go. And then assigning a POA. I've already got that highlighted. Assigning a POA is our next thing. And then assigning a Y. Being present during admission. And then, where's my pink? And then not present on admission. Lester, he's got the zoomies. This one right here needs to be pink. As soon as everybody gets here, we'll get started on these cases, unless anybody has any questions, anything y'all want in particular to go over. I have cases for the ER and urology we can do. Come on, focus. Focus, focus, focus. There you go. Yeah, I didn't do a live last night, so I feel bad and wanted to make sure I made up for it. So since we had boys over and they were trick-or-treating. I always like to make sure I go live at least 3 days a week for the people that can't get into tutoring with me or have exams coming up this weekend. I want to make sure they have something. You didn't get one trick-or-treater either? Sorry about it being blurry. You love coding your ER visits, I bet. I do have a set schedule when I go live. It's Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. 6:30 Arizona time zone. I know the times changed this weekend. Hopefully you guys on the East Coast will only be 2 hours apart instead of 3 like we are now. So that'll be nice. I also have workshops that I do on Sundays on Zoom if you want to participate on those. But if there's a holiday on a Monday or something, then I'll make up for it on the next day. So that's why I'm live tonight. The key to passing the CPC exam is doing the process of elimination and reading the last sentence. There you go. Can we see the decorations on your end? Yeah. Let's see. What did we have last night? Let me see. Where's my recents? Let's see. I had it quite foggy. We had a balloon for him. That's our witch. What a mess. There's our bubble maker. Fog machine will kick on in just a second. There it goes. That clown made all kinds of racket. Just bubbles and fog. Little scary lights going off. Whew. I wanted to cool down the fog so it'd stay at ankle level. But nobody was showing up, so it didn't much matter. It didn't much matter. There's that one. Oh, she's loud. Whoops, she goes back and forth and tries to chase you around, so she's scary. I would have been traumatized. That guy is scary. Had this witch crawly lady. She's crawled down the driveway, though. She was scary. Where's my witchy, scary lady? The kids were all dressed up. It was funny. Travis was a warlock, and James was some ninja warrior. I don't know. It's some sort of anime character of some sort. I have no idea who that is. The kids had toys to give out and candy, so that was fun. We had a witch of some sort. That was the front yard. We just had a kitty cat and a Skeletor out there. And then we had that witchy girl. Oh, my mom carved a pumpkin. She did a good job on that pumpkin. He had such a hard shell around him. His little pumpkin thing was super, super hard. Where is my witchy? I had this crawly witchy girl. There she is. She's outside. She was going down the driveway at people. But she's scary. She was out in front of the driveway, so she was out there trying to chase down people. Not that anybody was stopping by, but we had fun. Now I gotta clean all that mess up and put it up and get out the Christmas stuff. Let's see. But we had no trick-or-treaters. Yep, Michael Jackson vibe, yep. I had the boys brought home a friend of theirs from school, and then one of the neighbor kids' boys came over. But that's it. Yep, it was festive. I wish people would stop by because my mom worked hard on all that. Let's see. I did drive them around to 4 houses and let them trick or treat. They ended up with a whole huge bag full of candy just from the 4 houses. It's crazy. And I've been doing my best to hide it all day so I can go give it to the employees at Hobby Lobby and put it in the break room so they can eat it. That way the kids don't eat it. I have 4 sons technically, but I have 3 that are legally mine. My oldest son had a best friend from junior high up. His name's Gabriel, so I call him my 4th son. But I have 3 sons. I probably did scare them all off. Can you explain why the X's are in the answers and how to know when we use them? I can, absolutely. Hey, Susie. Hey, Trisha. So, I've got, let me see. Is there anything on this last page I need to highlight? I think there was one word I wanted to finish up here in red, because where does it say chronic? Acute and chronic conditions? No, not that. What's it start out with? It says chronic conditions with acute exasperation. It may be on this other one. Yeah, it's on the other page. Let me just circle this one word. The bottom down here, we've got one word we want to highlight in red. Somewhere around in here. We want to do the identifies both chronic and acute exasperation. Contains clinical concepts. And then the top of the next page where it says here. That only is what I was looking for. If a single code only identifies chronic conditions and is not acute exasperation, like acute exasperation of leukemia, assign Y. And then we needed here only the last sentence is a blue caution, and that one. These won't be on the CPC exam, but almost done with the guidelines for 2023. Yay. All right, let me bring down my CPT book and we can get that question answered about the add-on codes. So in the front of your CPT book, don't forget you do have an instructions on how to use this book. It goes through the format of how it formats and the codes. Also, it describes the types of codes. We have Category 1 codes, Category 2, and Category 3 codes. It also describes what you're saying about those times, what are add-on codes, what are modifiers. But these add-on codes are the ones that you can times. And we know that we can times them because they have the word each in them, in the descriptor. That's my main focus, is that word each. And when we do use add-on codes, we do not report modifiers 50 and 51 on a lot of those codes. That's important key stuff to remember on those add-on codes, what they look like. Are these with the plus symbol in front of them. They're going to have that plus sign. And then their CPT code descriptor, of course, has that word each. So when we see that, we know that this code is for prolonged services for the first hour. And then for each additional 30 minutes past that 1 hour, we could code the 55. If they had another hour, if they did 2 hours on a patient, we would code this code first, then this code times 2, because it's for each additional 30 minutes. Some of them are interesting, like our 1700 codes. Sometimes they get the CPT code descriptors written out a little wrong. I mean, they could do a little better with this, but excuse all the writing. But this is a code that does AKs is what I call them, and they do the first lesion. If you have an additional lesion, you're gonna do this code. So if I only have 2 lesions that are AKs, I would code this code with a comma and then this code, and then that would be it. If I had 3 of them, I would do like that example, this code and then a comma, and then this one times 2. The interesting thing about this one, it says 2nd through 14. Well, that doesn't mean it covers 2nd through 14 all in one code. It means each, because the each is still there. Each thing we remove, each lesion, is going to be one of these. So if we had 10 of them, we would times this by 9, because this does your first lesion, and then this one will do the 9 other ones. Once you hit 15 lesions, you can't do either one of those codes anymore, because this one will only do the first one, and this one will do up to 14 more lesions. Once you hit 15, you have to skip down here to the 04, and you do it by itself. If I had 99 AKs that I removed on a person that day, you would only code this code by itself based off those descriptors, because this one does 15 or more lesions. It doesn't have the word each in the descriptor, and it doesn't have a plus symbol in front of it. So we know it's not an add-on code. There are some marked in the book that are add-on codes, but it doesn't have the add-on symbol, and you would know it was, and it doesn't say the word each in it. And that's unfortunate. There's always some exception to the rule. Not everything is always 100% dead fast. This rule always applies. That's the hard thing about coding. But when we find practice exam questions with the correct answer, like this code can be times by 13, and then this code can be times by 13, and then this one can be times by 4, when we look at the CPT codes, there's no plus symbol in front of them. I put a star beside it, but there's no plus beside that 01. But in the answer, they times it by 13. And it doesn't have the word each in it. I wrote one in, but there are some exceptions, and the only way that I know how to find it is to bill it, get a denial, and then be able to fix it. Or find practice exam questions that tell you. The other way you can find it is they write up these new books, like the CPT Changes Insider for 2004. I don't happen to have that book, but I'm trying to buy them all. I do have the 2006 one here. They unfortunately don't do every code every year. They only do a few every year, and you have to buy the books for every year. And these are cool because what you see here, you get rationale for each CPT code that they do update that year. This is like 3 pages of rationale. They also give you clinical examples, and they also give you a full descriptor of what the CPT code says. What is in the CPT book is not a full descriptor. When they come out with new codes, or they come out with additions or more information about the codes, they publish a full descriptor. which can be quite lengthy. It's just something that they don't publish in the CPT book, because if they did, the book would be, I don't know. Instead of 1,000 pages, it could easily be 10,000 pages per book. So unless you get this book every year and go through each code, you wouldn't really know what the full descriptor says. But we have to bill and figure it out. But I try my best in my notes to find examples of things where the CPT code descriptor doesn't do the best job of describing what's going on in the CPT code descriptor, and make notes where I can. Hey, Twinkle Hey Go Kart. I'm using the 2022 CPT book right now. Do the words each always mean times? Well, like I said, nothing is ever 100% always one thing in coding. There's always exceptions to the rule. Most of the time. I don't know if I've seen, guys, you'll have to help me remember. Have I ever seen one that was an each and we couldn't times it? I don't think so, but I wouldn't put it past it. I've done my best to make sure that when I do see the word each, then I write the times beside it so that you guys would know that that is one that you can multiply. I can't remember if I've ever seen one that isn't each and we couldn't. Doesn't mean there isn't one, but I don't think so. What about when it's in the muscle groups? I always get that wrong. Yep. A lot of times, the only difference in the muscle groups is where in the tissue actually you are. So musculoskeletal section really has a lot to do with this integumentary picture here, which is something interesting, where shaves and excisions all before here and the fascia are done in the integumentary, but you get down here in fascias, you're going to end up with in the codes that are in the 2000s. So the differences here depends on whether you're in fatty tissue or under the fatty tissue, just meeting the muscle tissue, whether it has nerves. Any of these nerves in it can affect it. If you have a nerve fiber in it, you're probably in the 2000s and not in the 1000s. And then once you get into the muscles, you need to know whether you've gone down to bone or not. Don't forget that in the front of the musculoskeletal page, you've got a list of all the muscles and their wording. A lot of the time, if your muscle is out on the outer edges, that's more of a sub-Q, but deep muscle would be interior, more in the wrist and interior of the arm, and then back out again would be more of a sub-Q and not deep or external. That's one of the hardest things to figure out too on this. And then they love to pick on these particular muscles in the CPC exam, and I just make sure that I know where to find the words in case I'm looking for what body part they're located on. Don't forget about that. And then I don't know if I'll be able to find the codes right off the top of the bat, but Usually it's just sub-Q muscle to bone is what they usually are going after. If we're in soft part muscle, if we're doing 1 to 2 muscle groups or 3 to 4 muscle groups, being able to have those pre-marked can help out too. Sometimes they're only just injecting muscles, and the doctor will have to say whether they're injecting a point or a muscle, and then how many, and if they ended up down to the bone, if they did a graft. Thank you for sharing the live. That helps get this out, and tapping the likes. It really gets out the live to everybody that doesn't know that I'm live tonight. The name of this book is CPT. The name of the other books that I was showing off are CPT Changes, Insider View from AMA. But I'm telling you, you have to get one for every freaking year if you ever wanted to ever get a list of every bit of their changes. I got 2015. This is 2019. This is 20. This is 21 and 22. And I have 2023 already reserved, waiting on that to show up. But like I said, they don't do every code every year, only the ones that change. So you'll get rationale, you'll get a descriptor. Look how long that descriptor is for that one CPT code. You get the full descriptor. Then you could make your notes about what's going on in each code a lot better, since you'll have more information. It also gives you clinical examples, which I like for sure. And I use these as reference material for helping to make out the notes that I do every year. But they're published by AMA, and you can get them, like this one I think I got for $3 on Amazon and had them ship it to me free. I put them in my cart and I watch them, and then every so often when I'm in my Amazon cart, I'll see if they go down in price or back up, and if they get down to a price where I can afford it and have it shipped to me free, that's when I do it. So my lives are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6:30 Arizona time zone. So right now it's 7 o'clock p.m. here in Arizona. So now you can coordinate what time it is with you. I usually start at 6:30. Hey PJ, she's wanting tutoring. Hey Red, how's it going? I did tutoring today with MK. It's a lot of fun. I had these street people come show up in the neighborhood, and they laid liquid tar all over our roads. Oh my gosh, I had to go outside and move my cars off the street. And people have boats and things parked out, and everybody was moving all their stuff. We didn't even know they were coming. And they laid this sticky, tarry stuff all over our street. So it's really interesting, but it's just like they strung it out, like on random little strings of it. So it's not like they paved the road. They just filled the cracks with tar. It was interesting in the middle of her tutoring. Thanks, Red, for trying to help answer. You just graduated with your MBC degree. Do you have to have a written guide on how to mark up the books? I do. At my website, medicalcodingbyjen.com. Let me get there real quick. internet is slow. Come on. Oh, yeah, I turned off the Wi-Fi while I was at the grocery store. That's probably why. Let me reload. Just trying to get my phone to work. When you're not at home, you're not on your Wi-Fi, then it's weird. So you just go to medicalcodingbyjen.com and sign up for a membership. It's free, but then you go to CPT book prep. And when you get there, it'll show you pictures of my book. Just click on the picture and it'll give you the instructions on what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And you can go through, it'll show you how to do the CPT book. It'll show you how to do the ICD-10 notes and anatomy, everything that I do to my books, hip picks, you name it, it's all there. And I have some guideline one-sheeters for you. They're free too, so don't forget to sign up for, let's see, book online, for the workshop coming up this Sunday. It's just $10, and we're going to do E&M cases, digestive system, and the urinary practice questions. We'll also go over any new data that I have on what's been on the exam in the last 45 days. You just hit book now, and it'll take you to a calendar. Just click on the 6. And then click on the 2, and then you can hit next. And you'll get a Zoom link. And even if you can't participate this Sunday, if you pre-purchase the workshop, you get the replay so you can watch it in case you got to drop off. You can't spend the whole 3 hours with me. That's okay. But then just hit book, and that's all you got to do. That's there if you want to do that on Sunday with me. Other things that are on there are the social media links, which are super helpful. Shows you the Facebook, the TikToks, of course, my YouTube videos, which are on there, and then our study group. You just click on that, and it gets you into our Discord study group, which is super cool because we have practice exam rooms with practice questions in it, what to expect on exam day rooms, E&M resources, ICD-10, HitPix resources, you name it, we've got it there. Even the CCS people have a room, COC, auditors, med terms, anatomy, job resources. You can see who all we've helped. Even CANPC, anesthesiology practice questions, even cases are down there, and study buddies, all kinds of stuff. But all this is free. Y'all can utilize it and network together for sure. Oh, time to charge. Okay, switch laundry. Get the towels out and you can fold those. Sorry, I'm yelling at my kids. Please. Because you haven't done any chores. Your 2023 came in 3 weeks early. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm almost done with the notes for the guidelines. Fixing to publish those. Going through coding school currently. Oh boy. Save all your practice questions. When using AAPC, CPC study guide, how long does it usually take to complete the book? The study guide? Oh gosh, I don't even know if I've read it all yet, and I've had mine since 2019. It's a lot of info. It sure is. But concentrate on the practice exam questions at the end of each chapter. Go figure out why they pick the answers that are the answers, why the wrong answers are the wrong answers. Focus on that for sure. Hey, Kimberly. I will be on again tomorrow night for another live, and then I'll skip Thursday and then be back on Friday. I got tutoring on Thursday again. No, there was no live on last night. That's why we're doing it tonight. Yeah, no worries. You didn't miss anything. Do I need a 2022 or 2023 if you plan on taking you need a 2023. We are going to have 2,000 plus new ICD-10 codes and another 2,000 plus codes for CPT. You're going to need the 2023s. Amazon ships the CPT book with free shipping, and I saw that AAPC has a sale on their 2023 ICD-10 and HIPICS book for $54 each or something. Some November special of some sort. So if you get the CPT from Amazon with free shipping, it's still $100, but Optum might have a sale where it's a little cheaper than Amazon. I'm not sure, but just make sure you get it with free shipping wherever you get this book from. But the ICD-10 and HIPICS you need to get from AAPC, and they have a sale according to their email. But I don't know if it was 2022 books they were selling at that price. It said all ICD-10 and HIPICS, so I would be grabbing my 2023 for $50. I know I spent more than that when I bought mine in May from them. I was looking at the email this morning. If I get certified in California, can I use it in another state? Our AAPC CPC certification is nationwide. You can even get a job in Dubai and code. You're fine. What is a good way to study and learn anatomy with the codes? So what I do is I go to each anatomy picture that they have in the books, and I use Google. So I'll go to anatomy function. So I like to go anatomy function, hit go, then I go to images, and then I find me something that has a list of each eye part and tells me what it does in the easiest format. Sometimes I have to look, but look, this has got a little bitty paragraph. All these other ones just have one word written beside it, but this one's got small little paragraphs. So I'll click on that and go look at the picture and see what they wrote, if I can find it after I clicked on it. Come on. Don't be stingy with your pictures. Oh. There it is. Where this says the cornea is incoming light rays initially refracted and bent by the cornea, then I'll go write that right here, that it reflects light. Just putting down the function of every body part and what it does when they have an anatomy picture drawn is super helpful. And it's an open book exam, so you don't have to do a lot of memorizing. You'll know where to go find and look and see what that body part does. So that's what I do, is I do a lot of Googling. And I look for the most simplest information I can find, for sure. What does that body part do? Why is it there? Hey, Lester. CCS or IHIA, which one is better? Well, go to Indeed is what I do. Click on, what did you ask? Let's see, go to RHIA and hit go. How many jobs show up? 3,859 jobs. Go to CCS, medical coder, I guess, because sometimes we get up something else. Click on that. Come on, you can. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Search, search, search. It's not letting me till I sign in. All right. Go. Find jobs. It does not like CCS. Did I say it? Did I spell it wrong? I know I didn't spell it right. CPC. It loves that one. We're going to have 4,000 jobs there. CCS. 9,000 jobs there. I'm not sure they're all going to be like, so this is for Children's Services Coordinator. That's not a medical coder. We get extra things with the CCS. But Indeed is where I put stuff in and just see how many job openings there are. For risk adjuster, there's 5,000. For medical coder, just anything medical coder wise, there's 11,000 jobs. Yep, thing you could do, but just you have to do your own research, and I'm terrible at it. Remote jobs, there's 5,000 of them. CCS or CPC. I found those to be interchangeable. Most people recognize CPC for sure, but they're pretty interchangeable. This one's asking for all of it. Any of it, whatever you are. Come get you a job in New Jersey. I think risk adjustment, CRC, is where a lot of medical coding is headed towards. You want to take care of your population. You want to be able to risk adjust them and figure out who your sickest patients are so you can cut down cost on those patients. So if I had any recommendation at all, it'd be CRC. But other than that, AAPC does a full list of an analysis of all kinds of medical coder jobs and positions and tells you their salaries and stuff based off regions. They have the resources to look all that stuff up. I'm just one person online, so I don't have all that tallied up in my head. And gosh, I haven't applied for a job since I was maybe 2001 when I moved to California, but I only applied once. And of course, got the job right then and there. And then before that, I applied right out of college in 1994, and that's it. So when I moved to Cali, I worked there, that one job, almost 9 years, and then switched to their competitor and doubled my income when ICD-9 switched over to ICD-10. I doubled my income, and then I've been there ever since. So I don't know how many years that is, but I know I've already gotten over my 10-year certificate. So I don't switch jobs or look for a lot of jobs. I get where I'm happy, and I'm there. I'm just on chapter 8 in the CPC study book. Yep, just make sure you know your chapter 8 questions. Do those practice questions in the back of the book. Look at your main headers in each paragraph and coordinate what notes you make based off the questions they have on each chapter, instead of trying to micromanage every word that they've written, because that will take you forever. So start out with practice questions in each chapter, and then also read your main headers for anything in all paragraphs. That'll get you the crux of what that chapter is telling you about. Check for dates, like in 1994, this act went into effect, or that kind of thing. Remember back into grade school when they taught you how to skim or study material, they didn't want you to read word for word. They wanted you to build notes off of the header paragraphs and stuff like that. I just found you and it's already made such a difference. That's awesome. I'm so glad I can help. That's great, Sarah. That's awesome. Be sure and check out those YouTube videos. All my repeat lives from a year and a half of doing these on Monday, Wednesdays, or Fridays are there with practice questions for sure to help you. You take yours. Haley will take hers in November, and she will be using the 2022 books. Perfect. Yep. No one needs a 2023 book until January 1st. So every year, do I have to purchase new books? No. Once you become certified, Beck, you're done. You will never need one of these books again. You can have like a burning of the books. You know, you can get rid of them all because no one codes out of these books in real life anyway. Whatever they're teaching you or having you do for this exam is not real life coding anyway. We do Google searches in our EHR. If you have somebody that has a cataract of the left eye, you just type in cataract of the left eye. Actually, the doctor does it for you when he's picking out diagnoses in his EHR. You just need to make sure they're plan appropriate based off Aetna's guidelines or Blue Cross Blue Shield's guidelines, which you won't know till you get hired on to a place because each contract will be different based off each place. So no matter where you're going to go, they're going to have to train you, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. As long as you know what a code is. And, you know, you're not letting the doctor pick an add-on code as his only CPT code for the day. You know, you'll recognize things like that. Plus, the EHR will tell you, alert, alert, I don't think this will go. You'll be fine. But no new books. Just got to pass. I'm studying with the 2022 books now, but I won't take the exam till 2023. I'm still auditing. I just now got my new books in, and in prior years that I've been teaching this, we've had like 200 new CPT codes. That's not a big deal. I even made up documents that would turn like your 2021 book into a 2022 book. We only had 5 codes in all of E&M to add to, and then in musculoskeletal, there was like another 5. So if each chapter only needed 5 codes, that got you 200 new codes. This year, we have a huge update of over 2,400 new codes. You can't do that. You're not going to be able to write in. I don't know how many. That's 17 chapters. That means it'd be like 100 codes per chapter. It's not going to be rational for anybody to make a 2022 book into a 2023. You'll be better off just buying a new one. Unfortunately, I think. I don't know. Until somebody is the first person to take the exam in January with a 2022 book and says, hey, I couldn't find any codes on the exam, or all they used was all 2022 codes, then we won't know. But 2,000 plus new codes is a lot. It's more than I've ever seen during my journey in the CPC. So I think we're going to need a new book. Thank you so much. It's 9 p.m. here, and I'm going to bed. Good job, Samantha. You go have at it. My job is hiring coders. Nice. That's awesome. I work out of California too. I like working for California. I'm used to their HEDIS guidelines and their medical insurance plans. You're starting a new course in January? Yes. Ignore, just play the online book, there's be a setting where you can have it read it to you out loud. Have it play in the background while you're doing laundry or cooking dinner, that kind of thing, along with the videos. What you want to do is focus on the practice exam questions and the quizzes throughout the chapter. You want to copy every practice question and quiz throughout your course. Save them on a Word document or a PDF so that you can come through your CPT, ICD-10, and HitPix book and you can write those examples down. Like you had an entropion question on a right lower lid repair with a wedge excision. How did they want their answer? They wanted their answer to be this code with that modifier, with this code with that modifier. You want to go through your CPT book and highlight codes and put little examples from those practice exam questions in your book from your whole course. And then you'd have an entire course of correct answers throughout your books for you to reference during your certification exam. That's where you need to stay focused. The rest of it, all the material that they're having you watch, all these videos, just let it play in the background and don't stress too much, but copy every one of your questions down with the correct answer and the rationale for later. I need to have a CCS before April 23, and I don't have any coding certification at this point. That's okay. No worries. I have a CCS practice exam room questions for you guys on my Discord group too. So when you join my free study group, CCS has their own practice room where I just shared some information where Absolute Medical Coding Solutions was giving away a free CCS course this January. I don't know if it's legit or not. I have not met this instructor at all. No idea, but I shared the info right there. Also, I have practice exam questions for you guys in this room for y'all to study of stuff that I don't teach because I don't do those PCS codes or whatever, but I want y'all to be able to pass. You've got other CCS people in here that share information too, and y'all can network together and be study buddies in here. So hopefully, that kind of information can help too. I'm not opposed to sharing anything from anybody else that teaches anything else either. So even on my website at Medical Coding by Jen, if you hover over the social media tab, there's another tab there that shares information about other teachers in this field and their websites. And I post it all. For anybody that can help you, I'm all for it. So maybe that'll help. Yes, CPMA. For your auditor exam, be sure and buy the AAPC practice exam questions for that certification and study away. Study away for that. If you're going to go into risk adjusting, there is a study book for risk adjustment from AMA, which I kind of like right here. Super helpful so far from what I've seen. So they've got, it's a big old book, but it's got tons of information in it, tons of practice questions and rationale with it. The answers are not in the book. You have to download another page off the internet from the website to get the answers, but it's still helpful. So they have chapter reviews at the end, but this is the risk adjustment one if you ever wanted to get a book. You can get it in PDF form from VitaSource, or you can get, of course, the printed copy. I like it so far. I haven't found one for auditor yet, but I will try. All right, get down some practice. There we go. Thank you, Anointed. You're awesome. She's helping out. Let's go down low. Let me get y'all down low here. Oh, so I can get y'all down here with the answers and the questions. Supposed to start my CPC class in October, but they pushed it back to the end of this month. Aw. Okay, do not start going dark practice thing. Why are you going dark on me? There we go. Lighten back up. Lighten back up. Yes, my repeat videos are on YouTube. You are welcome, CCS people. You are very, very welcome. 80% to our goal. Thank you so much, Anointed. All right, let's do some practice questions. So, you know me, I like to go to the answers first before I look at the questions. All these start out with the 5, 5, 8. So I'd go there first. Run to my CPT book. Go look up the differences of these codes before I look at my question. I'm only going to look for my question for those differences. That's all I'm going to do. 5, 5, 8. I see that 40 and 45 are, I don't know. Or would it be the 10 and the 50? Let's go see if there are different headers. Let's see if they're different headers. 5, 5, 8, 10. Is that under a different header? That's under excisions. What about the 40s? Nope. Okay. They're not all under excisions. Our 10 is radical. Our 15 is bilateral. And it's a child underneath that mama, which is 10 code. And then our 40 is also a radical. So what's our differences? If both of these are radical, our 10 and our 40 have to be different. What are those differences? Do y'all see the difference? The books are specific to the coding certification. Everything's under excision. 45 is under. This one's bilat too. The 55, 8, 10, and 15 is Perry, and the 40 and 45, sorry, is under retro. Perry and retro. Those should be the words you have as your one-word differences, but you have these grouped together. They're both radical. This one's bilateral, that one's bilateral. Yep. So we just need to see which one's Perry or if we're retro to decide on which two codes we can eliminate right away and get us down to a 50-50. So let me get this scoochied over. We are radical retro. So we will get rid of A and B. Then we just need to see, are we doing with or without sparing or are we doing lymph nodes? Are we taking care of some lymph nodes? And we are dealing with some lymph nodes. The 40, no lymph nodes. 45 has lymph nodes. So we know our answer is D. And that's with just these words right here. I didn't need to read all this mess that they have in this note. So first do your headers before you do your descriptors. Always. That way you can usually get yourself down to a 50-50 shot and take you, 30 seconds to figure that out. And then another 30 seconds to figure out what the difference is between the remaining two answers. And one's without lymph nodes and one's with. So take care of them that way. You'll fly through that exam. There's your rationale. If you like the wordy way they do it. Lester, he's still got the zoomies. All right, let's check out these codes. We've got 60, 61, and 63. Let's see, what are we doing with the 641? I mean, a 541. 541. What are we doing? 541. Circumcisions? Ooh. Yeah. 541. Now, knowing AAPC 99.9% of the time is the very first circumcision code. Just always, I don't know why. It's just always seems to be that answer, which is our outlier right here. I know we have 3 in a row here, but legitimately, it's usually this code always. It's because of that parenthetical that's underneath it. It says to report without the ring block or whatever, you add the 52 modifier. There's just always something about those parentheticals that make them try to pick or use this code, but then have a bunch of other codes and confuse you with them. So anyway, that's just my thought on circumcisions. So let's just check out and see what kind of circumcision we did. Why are you in here, Travis?
What are you doing?
What do you mean, what am I doing? Child.
Are you almost done?
No, I'm not almost done.
Oh.
You have like 45 more minutes. Please go eat some pizza.
I already ate pizza.
Uh-huh. Today?
At school, yes.
No, go eat some here at the house.
If we have any.
Yes, we have pizza. Leftover from last night. Oh my gosh, my child. Sorry. Big old long one. Using a scalpel. It's always handy dandy to know. If we're using a scalpel on a 12-year-old, ouchie. Good luck, Kay. It's usually a trick question. Yeah, I like our C. Yep. Yep, C is our answer. because they're using a device, which is our scalpel. What if we needed to add a modifier to this question? What would the modifier be? For this circumcision on this 12-year-old using a scalpel, what is our modifier? Yep, easy peasy. Every time I see an AAPC question with circumcision, usually 99% of the time, it's always that code. So don't let them try to confuse you. It's usually always ends up being that code. All right. Let's go look at these 5200s because they're closer. 52, I don't have any opinions on these codes. I don't even know where they're at. Let's see. Are we under laparoscopic? Whatever we're doing. Yeah. So we've got a 0, a 1, and a 2. Normally, my opinion is when we have the same number written down in a row like that, usually it's the second code in the bunch, like the middle one. So it's not the first one, it's not the last one, it's usually the one right here in the middle, but just my opinion. My differences are we're just viewing, or we're irrigating, or we're doing crap to the bladder. So not too tough. Not too tough. So we just need to find out, are we viewing and irrigating, or just viewing or doing something to the bladder? What are we doing? We did what? What did we do? We did irrigation. So I'd grab that word. And the one that said irrigation was B. What do you guys think? I'll let you see the rest of the question, because that's the one with irrigation next to it. Bladder is mentioned, but I don't think they did anything to it. They just did a cystoscope and removed a bunch of clots. Yep, I like our B too. B is our answer. Luster. These are going to be more challenging. So the next ones are going to be like chemotherapy, hydration, those kind of codes. I know MK loves it when I go over these during the live, but you're probably going to need out your HIPICS book. For some of the next ones, I can't find mine. All right. Just in case. Yeah, you're going to need the 2023 books for sure. So right now we've got the CPT codes in the front that are all different, except for we have 2 that are the 72, which might come in super handy. And then our only difference is whether we're using the 96 or the 900. If I was doing the process of elimination by looking for codes that are similar, I would eliminate C and B because they have different codes. I would keep 72 and 72. And then because D's answer is different from all the other answers, even the ones I threw away, I would pick A as my only answer and move on to my next question without reading the question, just to see if I could get it right. Because a lot of times my process of looking for similarities or looking for things to eliminate that are not like each other works. Let's go look up what the differences between the 96 and the 90 code right there, just to be on the safe side. There is usually, I know it's confusing, there's a reason why AAPC has two answers that are the same, and then there's one difference between those two answers. And they even tell you on the AAPC site that this is a legitimate thing that they do during the exam, that if two answers start out the same, you need to really focus and pay attention to those two answers. There's a difference between them, and there's a reason why. So if we look at J27, they used to not have that on their website. I've been teaching for a year and a half. There is something going on here, and I'm so glad that they finally updated it in June, that is legit. So we go to J27. If you look at my pinned TikToks, you'll see a list of books that you're going to need if you're just starting out. I have it pinned as one of my 3 TikToks you should watch. 96. So 2796 is in plate. Don't look at the CPT code or the HIPICS code descriptor, which is another thing you got to kind of learn. If you look at the code, it says this word. Well, that word will never be mentioned in the question. What will be mentioned is this word down here, 3 lines down, that end plate. That's what's going to be mentioned. And then our other one is 3490. I don't know where 3490 is. Let's see. 3490 is over here, and it's infusion of normal saline. So let's check out our question, and you see the end plate is there. So that is what we gave. So we know we gave a 96. And when you look at 96, again, it says it's 10 micrograms. What was ordered, by the way, was 235 micrograms. So if it's 10 milligrams, you do have to times it by 25 to get 250 micrograms. And we just waste 15 milligrams to do the order for, sorry, my camera is changing colors for some reason. Why are you blacking out? Okay. Then we waste 15 milligrams of that 250 that we would make by that. But anyway, that's where they're getting this from, is that we waste 15. They only ordered 235, but the only way we could draw it up is to make 250. So it all adds up. But again, you can do this question without having to know anything or look up any codes, by just looking for answers that start off with the very same codes. That eliminates B and C. The only difference is the difference between these two codes, where one code, the 96, says this word, third word down. Remember, we're not looking at the descriptor. what number was it? 9.6. Yep, that 9.6. We don't look at the descriptor, we look at the manufacturer's name. And we just find that in our answer. The other one was normal saline. That was just saline. So just knowing to be able to look for that difference got you the right answer, which is A, which is there. Yep, we do have to waste 15 micrograms, and that happens all the time. There's nothing we can do about that. If we can only draw it up as 10 micrograms each, we do waste and put 15 micrograms in a biohazard container that gets incinerated. Used to be back in the day when I got my degree in 1994, we were still shooting that stuff down the sink as we were drawing up stuff, not thinking that this was going to end up in our sewage system or our water supply back in the day. We finally figured out when the fish ended up with a bunch of chemotherapy drugs or Demerol in them, and we were eating it, that yeah, we should be putting it down the sink. We need to be putting that in a biohazard container and then incinerating it. But yeah, we do put wasted material that we draw up in injections that are too much. Yeah, and we do have to document that we put it in the biohazard container or be witnessed on some meds, depending on what they are now, destroying it. There's nothing we can do. We did have to waste 15. Yep. Back in the day. All right, this one's going to be crazy, but it's not unheard of. You can do this, I promise. Just look for your similarities. The 13 is the same. We don't even have to look it up. The 15 is our first difference. I can get this question from a 4 possible answer down to a 50-50 shot if I know if I'm going to times 2 or not that code. So let's go look that one up. I'll put you back up here in the crane so I can get access to my book. So we're going to go look up 96415. What is that? 9. We doing hydration? 96415. 96415 isn't each. It is an add-on code for additional hours. We can multiply it if we need it. Our 13 is our mama code. It does the first hour, which is helpful. What are we doing on this patient? We've got leukemia. So let's check out our times on this one. Let me put up this HipHicks book. HipHicks book. We did everything from 11, 10, 11, 10. Notes, that's all. 11 to 10. 11 to 10. Ivy. Only 1 hour. And 1 hour. And right here is our begin time. 11:45 to end time was 2:15. So how much time do we have? We got 15 minutes till noon, and from noon to 2, we have 2 hours, and then we have an extra 15 minutes at the end. So that equals 2 hours and 30 minutes. Hydration time, and then we're going to need we're going to need our 15 does the first hour for each additional hour. We don't have anything that we would need to do times 2 over here at all. We only have 2 hours and 30 minutes. You can't bill for 30 minutes anyway, so we only need the 2 hours. This one does 1 hour. This one does the second hour. The extra 30 minutes would not make us times 2 at all. So we would get rid of A and B. Then we've got the 17 is the same throughout. The 75 is in our throwaways too. Our only difference is the 61 and the 75. Truly. I would pick C just because the 75 is in my other 3 codes too, 3 answers. But let's go see our differences. 6-1 is what? 6-1 and our 75. 363. Lester. 75 is intravenous push. How many pushes did we have? Those are less than 30 minutes. Or 61 is an add-on code for additional hour for infusion hydrotherapy. We can't add the 61 unless we added the 60. So that doesn't make any sense. I bet we got 2 push drugs. That's a push. Because it doesn't have a start in that. That's a push right there. Because that's only took just a few little old seconds. Yep, so we got pushes. So C is going to be our answer for this one. Yep. There's our answer. So we've got our first hour and then additional hour. It only lasts 30 minutes, which cannot be reported, which I told you guys. So that's 30 minutes just goes away. And then we had that push and that push because those are just a few little minutes. 2 13-minute drugs just turn into pushes. So that's our times 2. And that gets us down to the only differences that we need to worry about. You don't have to look up every code. Just look for those differences and narrow them down that way. Hey, MK. Yeah. I'll post this up on YouTube because I knew you'd love these. I've done 2 of the chemotherapy infusion stuff. So you'll love them. Let's see if I got another one here. What's my next one? A little bit. This one's different. So we've got 3 that start off with the 15. So I would get rid of A just based off that. And then I have a difference whether I would add another CPT code and then the A code. And for this, I've got A in 2 answers. And then I've got the 965 in 2 answers. When would I use an A code? When would I use that? NHA. I've had quite a few pass NHA too. So, yes, please hang out. My YouTube channel is medicalcodingbyjen.com. Don't forget you can stop by my website, and I have all the social media links there too. So, super handy dandy. You get to see all my free stuff, like everything that's on there. The free study group, the free how to prep your book, the workshop that we're doing this Sunday. It's all there. It's just medicalcodingbyjen.com. You can do the drop down menu to social media links, and it'll take you to the Facebook, to the TikTok, to the YouTube channel, all that stuff, and then our free study group right here. So it's all free. And you can also do the members only page that's free for the CPT book prep, but it also goes into the ICD-10. It also does the anatomy prep work and how to fix up your ICD-10 book too. So on this one, when would we use an A code? You're so welcome. Thank you for the follows. A is HipPix. When would we use HipPix codes? Thank you, Twinkle. When would we use HipPix codes? What type of patient? Could be, but this isn't a J code, so it's an A code. Nikki, all that earnings income is on the AAPC website. They do national surveys and get salary income from coders who are currently working in the field. And I mean, it depends on what you do with your career. You can make millions of dollars running a hospital in the coding department. If you want to be a big time administrator, then go for it. You can make $100K a year easy like I do auditing, whatever you wanted to make out of your career. Or you can work from home part-time auditing for $25 an hour. It just depends on where you are and what you're doing with your career. Yep. Like bacon, she got it. She knew what I was talking about. Oops, sorry. Let me go back. I didn't mean to open. I want to go back. Oh, there we go. Medicare. If we were dealing with a HipPix code in the A section, we only bill that when we have a Medicare patient. So thinking about that kind of stuff in your head before you look through the question will save you so much time during the exam. Just look and see if we have a Medicare patient. And look, we do. We have a Medicare patient. Then you know your answer is definitely going to have an A in it. Then you just need to make a distinction whether you need that 65 code or not. Would you bill 2 CPT codes and a HipPix code on a Medicare patient? More than likely not. Probably your answer is just C. Being the more conservative person is definitely what AAPC wants to see in their certification exam takers. They want to try to get you to overcode so they can exclude you from their certification. So we're just doing a PET scan, lower pelvis. Yep. They're reviewing an older one. Not a hard, fast, always rule. You know, coding can be so fickle. There's always exceptions to the rule. You can bill HipPix codes for commercial patients, but A lot of times, the only time AAPC is ever asking about a HitPix code, if it's not an injection, it's only dealing with HitPix code. If you see anything in the A's, you see anything in the G's, you know they're probably dealing with a Medicare patient, and you can eliminate answers like I did and get yourself down to a 50-50 shot of getting the question right by just getting rid of anything that does not have an A in it because we knew it was a Medicare patient. That would have gotten rid of D, and that would have gotten rid of A. So anything you see in that area, that will help you get your scores, hopefully will get better. If you see anything in the A or the G area, go look for whether you're dealing with a Medicare patient or not. And then that helps you get it down to 50-50 shot. And you see how they have the same answer starting out and the same answers at the end? Well, there's only one little difference, and that's what they're testing you on. Do you know the difference and whether you can add that code or not? Yep. Next case, we've got 7,000s, some with modifiers, some without, and then a diagnosis. I see cancer codes, symptom codes, or history of codes, which can all give me information on what I need to know. Most of the 7,000 codes, there's only just a few that will need the 26 modifier. It's usually unlikely. I see that the 76 is there twice. No, the 46. 46 is there twice. One's with and one's without a modifier. So my gut is telling me it's probably B without the modifier. But let me go look at the code real quick, see if it includes interpretation. If it does, then I know right away my answer is B without even looking at the question, because that's the only reason we would add 26 modifier is if we needed to add for interpretation. But most of the time, if we're getting a report done, you don't get a chest x-ray done without getting a report back to say if they have a broken rib or not, you know. You don't have to pay for that extra. 46, does it include interpretation? That is a chest x-ray, chest something. Yep, 3 views. Yeah, if I'm going to do a chest x-ray, I'm going to get a report back, right? There's no reason to add that 26 modifier. Yeah. So I'd keep it at B. If we did 3 views, just check the question to make sure. Did we really do 3 views or 2 views? Is it 2 views? 2 views. 2. Sorry. 2 views. If that's what we did, then great. Then the diagnosis. There's probably a guideline here about whether we're coding cancer, history of, or a symptom. We need to see, why are we doing the chest x-ray? I don't care about their history. I just want to know, why are we doing the chest x-ray? Oops. They don't have cancer today, right? They just have history of. Like, they don't have cancer today, and nothing's noted on the chest x-ray. Like, they don't have any nodules or anything, so I would get rid of those. And do they have a symptom? Do they have something? Are they coughing, wheezing, any reason, no distress, there's nothing. They're just for a follow-up. So I wouldn't even mark the symptoms. I would just do the history of BB. Make sense? Their heart is normal. Lungs are normal. No infusion. Just history of. So BB, let's see. We got B as our first one. Yep, we don't need the 26. And B is our, yep, just history of. And yep, there is a guideline that indicates when there's no further treatment directed towards and no evidence of existing malignancy. Yep. All right, I got a bunch of ER ones next. We're going to have to pick out the level of visit in the ER. They're not going to tell us the MDM or time, or not that ER has time, but they're not going to tell us the history, the exam, or the MDM. So we have all of them listed, the 01, 02, 03, 04, 05. And then we're going to have to pick out our procedure. So we have the 11 and the 13 are the closest. And just knowing AAPC, I'm leaning towards A, because usually if it's a difference between two numbers, usually the answer is the smallest of the number, but they're trying to trick you in the question to make you pick a higher code. And then the office visit, no idea other than if we're stitching something up, it can't be too life-threatening, you know. So I don't know on that. I just have to check the question and see what they come in for. So let's check. They have a laceration. Skateboarding. They did a review of systems, history, social, vitals, eyes, ENT, neck, heart, lungs, shoulders, psych. Ooh. They did a CT of the face. Good gracious. They did a laceration repair. They have a closed head injury, 2.5, a contusion. Patient was discharged, told to follow up in 5 days. Yep, we'll just do differences in the sizes. And treatment plan discussed with the family. So I don't think they're circling the drain, ready to die. So I wouldn't do that one. And they did do a lot of review of the systems. What would you code them? In 82, 83, or 84? Vitals head. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 body areas reviewed. Must have been an intern. What do you guys, oops, sorry. What do you guys think? Yeah, it's low. I agree, but he reviewed a lot of systems. If you look at our chart in our E&M section, where we did over 8+, if we do 8+ systems, 8+ equals complex, comprehensive, which would make us an 84. Not that it was really that difficult of a visit, but he did a physical exam of 9 body areas. And if you go off the physical exam, we've got that chart on page 11 of our AAPC or CPT book that goes over if it's problem focused, they did 1 body area. If it's expanded problem focused, they do 2 to 5 body areas. If it's detailed, they did 6 to 7 body areas. If it's 8+, it's comprehensive. But yeah, a laceration due to skateboard is not really supposed to be an 84. I mean, it doesn't seem like it should be, but they ended up doing a CT of his head. Good gracious. All right. Forehead, a 2.5. Where would that be coded? A or D? What do we think? $12. But our decision was low. Our history has no history on it. And that would be a low on the history. If one's low, they're all low. Sorry. All right. 11 or 12. 11 or 12. 11 or 12. You like B or 001 or 001? That's going to be a laceration of the forehead. We didn't glue it together. He actually... 12. Where are we at? 12. 12001, 2.5, scalp, neck, head. Yeah, I like A. I like A too. B, 11 is face, ears, eyes, lips, nose. Where is the forehead? Is that on a scalp, neck, axil, trunk, or genitalia? Or is it in the next codes where face, ears, eyelids, nose, and lips is at? That's why it's not B, is because scalp is not forehead. Forehead is with the face, which is starting on code 11. So body parts are super important to remember right there. And then the 13 is too big because that's 2.6 and we were 2.5. So, yep. So our Answers? Where do we get our answers at? Laceration, right there. Answers. D, we are an 84 because we have one new problem, no further workup needed. The CT scan gets us a point for that. Moderate risk level for acute injury, including the CT scan. They're saying it's moderate. The 9+ gets us a comprehensive, which is the 8.5, but then the decision making seemed to be a low, but they consider it a moderate because of the CT scan. The dyes involved in putting them through that machine, radiating them. Of course, the 11 is correct for sure. You're welcome, PJ. Meds prescribed moderate. Did they do prescriptions? Tylenol prescriptions. They did do prescriptions, but probably prescription strength. Makes it a moderate. These are so subjective for sure. We've got another ER, and then we've got diagnoses. What's interesting is we have 3 of them that start out with S codes for injuries, and one lonely bird that's a T. It depends on whether you have a T first or the S first. So there's a guideline attached to this, knowing whether you have a T first or an S first. And that's what we got to figure out. So I got a 21-year-old argument with boyfriend. She's been hit or something. Gave her extra strength Tylenol. Social worker going to be involved. And they discharged her home. So she's got a face contusion and domestic abuse. What do you code first? And what level visit would this be? I wouldn't consider circling the drain. I wouldn't consider her too low. They did have to involve social workers and stuff like that. But I don't see that they reviewed a lot of stuff. They did her social determination, no surgery. She does have a history of being anemic. Probably expanded problem focused, don't you think? I don't know. Expanded problem focused or a low. I don't think she's moderate. I mean, he wrote prescriptions of the Tylenol, though. They really didn't review a lot. I like B, y'all like C. What would y'all say to the diagnoses? Are we going to go T first or S first? So a lot of times the diagnosis code book will tell you what to do if you just go to the codes. So if we go to If you're questioning one of them, go to the very beginning of where the code starts. Let's see. If you go to T74, you've got red. Anytime you see red, you need to stop because T74 says we have to use an additional code, which means we're going to have to place additional code down to say something about the perpetrator if known. So we're going to need to have that Y code to go down with it. So that's helpful. We are going to have that Y code. This S code, the A and the Y, doesn't even have the T code involved. So you know we can't be told to use Y if we don't have the T code. So I'd get rid of that. You were just doing this for your homework. So in the, I don't have the 2022 ICD-10 book out right now. I'm sorry, I've got the 2021 out. So in the 2021 ICD-10 book, the page number is 1167 for the T74. It's confirmed abuse or maltreatment. Thank you for following. I think it's B and C. So let's go. Oops, I'm hitting the things. I think we're going to have to do our T code first. Due to our guidelines. So we do have a low complexity, a new problem, no further workup plan, no review of anything. So we're just going to use our 92. And then if we look in our alphabetical index, we don't ever do any of that kind of stuff. Does our SOO say use additional to? A, B, C, D, E, F, S, SOO. So our injuries SOO also has a use additional guidelines too. It gets crazy with these codes, knowing which one goes first and which one goes next. So under the T74, there's a note about using the additional about the current issue. That way the T code must go first due to those instructions. To identify the perpetrator, known as the boyfriend. So we're going to use a T code first in the event of abuse. If she just fell and hit her head on her own, it would be one thing, and we could use the S code first. But when they're a victim of a crime, we use, I call it my tornado code, because I don't know. They're always talking about earthquakes or hurricanes or whatever. Memphis, where I grew up, we always had tornadoes. So when you're a victim, do your T code first, and then I think of tornado. I don't know why, but that just makes sense for me. Yep, in general rule, it's best to code low. It is. I'm starting intro into reimbursement tomorrow. Oh gosh, bless your heart. Every time you read it, I get this correct. However, when I test, I stress and I get nervous. Yes, I do make it a lot easier together like this than it is in person without me. But I promise I'm not doing anything that you can't do too. You know, get rid of the first one. Get rid of the last one, unless they have severe exasperation or they're just seeing a nurse or something. And then break it down with what's left. Look for similarities. There's a reason why a T code, my tornado codes, would be first. If you see anything with S codes and they've playing baseball, they were drunk and fell, S codes are cool. You see a difference between an answer and a T code is first, think tornado or abuse, you know. I just think if the T code's first, I'm going to go look for abuse. If there is abuse, then I know T goes first. That way I keep that straight in my head. Just knowing a little bit of a guideline, making some sort of similarities in your brain so you can remember T codes means tornado, which means abuse. I don't know why I think tornadoes are abuse. It's not. It's still a Mother Nature kind of thing, but I don't know. I guess when you got an abusive person, they act like a tornado. They're erratic and you never know where they're coming from. I just see tornado and think abuser. I don't know. But make up whatever kind of similarity means. Like Mike Tyson, you're going to be in a fight with somebody else. I don't know. We could always change the T to not be tornado, but mean something else. A fighter, a boxer, that kind of thing. Maybe that's helpful. All right. We've got another list of visits, and then we've got diabetes or Z codes. And then diabetes afterwards. Be thinking about, why would we do a Z code after diabetes, or why would we do a Z code before diabetes? That kind of stuff is helpful. I don't think, is there a reason why we would do a Z code before diabetes? I mean, that just seems weird to me anyway. So I probably would not be thinking about these as being possibilities. It's probably these. And they just want to know, would I do 3 codes or 2 codes? And then if it's diabetes in the ER, I don't see any CKDs or weird codes, so they can't be dying, you know, and they probably a little bit more than just a walk-in splinter in their foot that needs to be pulled out. So it's probably a difference between these, is what I would think about. Could be wrong. Depends on what they're being seen for. ER. She's requesting a refill on her meds. Huh. So she got polyuria, or they ordered some labs. They gave her some IV metformin. And stuff was given to her because she probably ran out of her meds. Happens all the time. And she just needed a prescriptions, and she couldn't get her meds. So they gave her meds and refilled her. Yeah. Definitely would give her diabetes first. That's the reason why she's here. She'd definitely be a B or a C. Do you see 3 diagnoses here? What is our differences between the 84 and the 4 here might be able to tell us which one to keep. Z79. What's going on with Z79? Z79, 0.4 and 0.8. 0.4 is long-term use of medicines, and then 0.84 is also long-term medication for oral hypoglycemic drugs, when the 0.4 is insulin. She's not on insulin. She was on oral meds. It's just all the oral meds. So this one's for insulin. She's not on insulin. So that tells us right away our answer's C. I'd give her a 2. What do you guys? What would y'all give her? Thank you, Twinkle. Yeah, no, she's got no insulin. No insulin at all. She was only given oral meds. Metformin is oral. Glyburide is oral med. Yep, those are all orals. She did get a little bit, but that was just to get her blood sugar under control. But her meds were given her orally. Y'all think she's a C? Y'all like B and C? Okay, B and C, or... Well, we're all wrong on the office visit. They consider it to be a 81. Let's so get this one wrong. Let's see. They did an expanded problem-focused history. A problem-focused one organ system exam. Yeah, they did do that. 1 data point for the labs and moderate level for the prescription. You'd think 04 for the prescriptions, right? But he didn't make decisions on those meds. Somebody else had made the decisions to give her those meds. She just ran out of her meds and needed a refill. So this doctor didn't need to make the decision to put her on all 3, or 2 or whatever it was. They just refilled them. So, they wanted an 01 for this one. I'd be trying to bill her 02 all day long, or 82. We got the C right on that one for sure, because she's on oral meds. 81, my foot. But yeah, they only reviewed that one system, and that's it. One system and wrote her a refill. Because A is right, because they only reviewed one body part. If we look at that page 11 again in our thing, they reviewed one body area, which would be a problem focused, which would be our lowest level. That's a 01, this is a 02, 03, 04, 05. They go on up. So I can see where they bill an 01, but my goodness, I'd get it wrong on the exam. But y'all can see it with me and know how and what answer they want it to be when you're taking the exam. Know that if they only review of system was one little bitty thing, then it correlates with your very small office visit, whether they're in the ER or not. They only looked at one body part. ERs can be based off medical decision making too. These questions are cases that just don't tell you what the MDM is. So they're a little bit harder, where you have to do how many body areas are reviewed. They're just a stronger, harder question. You probably won't see anything like this on the CPC exam, maybe one question or two. But if you can do these, then you can do risk adjusting or COC, or you can definitely whiz by the CPC exam for sure. So they're just rougher. I know. I don't get why it's an 81 too, but it matches. I mean, they ordered lab work. That just seems like that gets a point. They did IV solution. That's a risk. And they wrote prescriptions. It seems like it ought to be at least an O2. But in the doctor's office, it'd be a level 3, right? So it's funny. It's just their answer and what they wanted. And that's the last question I had for tonight. Sorry to end it on a confusing one, but I can only go by what AAPC wants for the answer and try to show y'all the best way to figure out how to come up with that answer. But it's a highfalutin case. I don't think y'all would see something like this on the CPC exam. I was just trying to help out. I got these cases from the specialty of CDEC, their ER certification exam questions. I bought those. If you ever wanted to go into the emergency room and just do that specialty, they do have a certification for it, and that's where these cases came from. And I just thought they were cool and something new and interesting to show you guys. Every once in a while, especially some of the COC questions I find that are on the CPC exam, they're always good for practice. But that's where I got them from. Let me get that back up. This one. You're welcome, guys. I will see you again tomorrow night for our regular live. And I'll have some more questions for you by then. I hope y'all have a good night, and I hope this was helpful. I'll post the live up on YouTube so MK can see those chemotherapy injection ones that I did too. Those were cool. And I will see y'all again tomorrow night. Thank you for helping me hit the goal tonight too, guys, with all the likes. 10,000 likes and 8 shares. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.